All right, we're live. Welcome to Waterfed Wednesday, everybody, where we go beyond the bucket and dive into the world of waterfed cleaning and answer your questions about our equipment, our business, and our goal of helping cleaners worldwide get the job done faster, safer, and better. I'm here with my good friend, Sheila Smeltzer, and I will say that if I'm hosting this, it's probably going to be less equipment chat, just off the top here. I do that all day outside of this. And so there will probably be less questions and answers between my friends and I on here regarding my gear. Some people I have on here I've known a long time, and I don't even know if they have our gear. That is not true of Sheila. I know she has our gear. Sheila, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Shawn. How are you?
I'm great. No complaints here. So Sheila and I have known. Yeah, I think that's
just gonna say you're always great. I mean, every time I see you, you're great. Yeah,
I think that's true. No complaints. So Sheila and I have known each other quite a long time. Sheila, do you recall when we met? I don't recall the moment, but I have a feeling I remember the time frame. What is your recollection?
I'm saying it's around 2006 because that's really when I got involved in the window cleaning industry. Like kind of came on the scene. So 2006, 2007.
Yeah. And how did someone like you find yourself in this amazing world of window cleaning?
Oh my gosh, you really want to hear that story?
Yeah. And then I'll let you tell your story you want to chat about here.
No. A long story short, I married. My ex-husband was a professional window cleaner by trade, like from the time he grew up in the Myrtle Beach area. And when I met him, we moved to North Carolina and there were no window cleaning companies in the area. So we started the business. I was a stay-at-home mom. I love those days. They're the best days of my life. And kind of the ball got dropped and I had a choice of like going into real estate or continuing this business. And I picked up the ball and I ran with it. And now it's 20 years later. And I've built a business. I've built staff, built the fleet.
You sure have.
And
absolutely.
Yep.
So tell us about that journey. You were just talking to me off air about the tortoise and the hare concept, and you wanted to dive into that. I'm going to let you run with that, Sheila.
Yeah, Shawn. I mean, I was just thinking about our conversation today, and I was thinking about something very interesting. And I think it's fun to tell a story. And Shawn, when you and I met, we were both, we probably met at an IWCA convention. And we were both window cleaning business owners, small. I know you were doing a lot of residential. I was doing a lot of residential. And you have, I'm equating you to the tortoise and I'm equating me to the hare. So this is the tortoise and the hare story, because Shawn has completely gone from the time that I got to know you, Shawn. You have just ascended through all these different aspects of the industry, right? From business ownership, like of the actual service, to delivering that, to growing that. And then, you reach higher ground. Like you started to get into development of products. Like you were the waterfed pioneer, behind Tucker, right? Like it was Tucker, and then there was a bunch of other guys on the scene, and then you come out with Reach Higher Ground. Am I telling the story right?
Yeah, go on, Sheila. You got it.
Right. And then the big thing was then you buy Tucker, like the original, the OG, you buy them. And then now you catapult into everywhere that you are now. And I mean, so I just think it's such a cool, innovative story. And there's very few people in our industry that can tell your story. And so I think that you're the tortoise here.
No, I think you think I'm the hare, you said.
No, I'm the hare. Tortoise. No, you're the hare. I'm sorry, I'm the tortoise.
Right, I'm the hare. I think you're right. I think in a lot of ways there was a lot of explosive growth over late 2000s heading into the teens, and then we had the 2015 into 20, and in March it'll be 10 years since we bought Tucker. So time flies because that doesn't. Only reason I know that is because I spoke with Robin Tucker briefly via chat the other day, and he told me that. I'm not one, and I've really been thinking about this lately. I'm not one to pinpoint dates, time frames, anything. And I wonder, I'm starting to equate that to being just so in the moment all the time that just like I have no idea, right? I
I'm
think
the same.
I'll look back when I'm like 70 and be like, whoa, where did it all go? Right? It just
Exactly.
so I think that's a good sign. So yeah, I think coming out of COVID, we had some really explosive growth years. With the lockdown, we were able to stay open because we were a cleaning manufacturer, and that really helped us. We were able to keep a lot of our staff. We ran 2 shifts. My family came in at night so we could minimize exposure. We really kind of saw a lot of things take place during that time frame. And I think the cleaning side of it probably saw that in some sectors, and in others it was really hard, right? Like you had your customers not wanting you inside their house all of a sudden, and all these people thinking that you're the boogeyman if you get near them. And so I'm sure that was a little bit different for us as well on different sides of the equation here. You mentioned the IWCA in your story there about how we most likely met. Talk to me about the IWCA. You are the current past president of the IWCA. Tell me about your feelings for the IWCA and maybe a little plug for the IWCA for the upcoming convention.
I love plugging the IWCA, but first I have to finish my story about why I'm the tortoise.
Oh, go ahead. All right.
Sorry, real this is important, I think,
I love it.
because I think I represent another kind of facet of the industry, and that is that I'm like the slow and steady wins the race. I'm not saying that the tortoise doesn't. You're definitely winning the race, but like sticking with a business and growing slowly and surely over the years, learning and growing as time goes on. I'm the story of I'm woman in the industry. I've never had any capital investors. I've never really borrowed much. I've taken my profits, I've put it back in my company and just grown slow and steady over the years. And, we just crossed our 25 years, in business. Yeah. Shawn came to our 25-year ribbon cutting event in North Carolina, which was amazing for me. And it's this whole thing of passing that and like getting to that kind of place in your business, and you say, whoa, and now I have all these new ideas. Like I feel like now I'm innovating in a totally different way. I'm taking my business in a totally new direction, and it's awesome. And so I just kind of want to tell that story for anybody who's listening that feels like, oh man, these guys around me are, blowing up their businesses super fast and they're doing all this stuff super fast and I'm being left in the dust. Like stick with it. Because, if you stay true to your service and what you provide and being safe and going by industry standards and all that sort of thing, and like being on these podcasts and learning, you will win the race in the end. And so that's really the story that I wanted to tell.
That's awesome. And I think it's important to mention that from a perspective of the person that's in your seat, right? Because if you go on social media and you go anywhere where you're kind of getting influenced by what seems to be happening with other people in their lives, it's important to remember this is everyone's greatest hits online, right? You're not talking about your losses or anything that's really a struggle typically. So you're seeing all this sort of stuff that really kind of just gets at you like, maybe I'm not doing it right. Well, they're not on there talking about their insecurities or anything else. And the people that I'm connected to on there are crushing it beyond measure, right? I mean, you got the Tommy Mellos of the world and all these, and it's like, whoa, you can't really look at that and think of it as anything that's part of your world. So I think it's really important that you point that out. It's a grind. And even those guys and myself and whoever else that you're seeing, they're all grinding, right? And that's not that fun. Right? That's not really the thing that we all really love.
We
your
don't
new
aspire for that.
yeah, you don't. I mean, you either are built to handle that, right? Like you're built to deal with it. You can get through it. You can forget about it. You can move forward, and you can grow like you've discussed there. Or it gets to you. And the important thing to realize is it gets to everybody, and how fast you kind of let it fall off the side and move past it is really what makes us succeed or fail, I think, in the end. So I love that you shared that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the other important thing to realize too is just that, we're all writing our own story. And like, what's the greatest story that you can write for whatever it is that you're doing? And so, and it's so easy to compare everything that we're talking about right now with what we see online and social and all that. But like, what is your story? And just hold fast to it and like do the best you can. And there is success that will follow.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's chat IWCA.
Okay, cool.
Immediate past president, or whatever the official role
Yep,
is called.
that's the official. Yep, that's the title.
Yeah. So let's hear something for the IWCA. Let's hear a plug for that. I know they've got an upcoming convention. We will be there at the trade show convention in Vegas next month. Tell me about your experience with the IWCA and why it matters to you.
Yeah, thanks for that opportunity, Shawn. I'm going to try to make it short, but this is another story.
Go for it.
I found the IWCA back in like 2006. Internet was like a brand new thing. When about the time that I took on the business on my own, we were sued for a 64,000 scratch glass lawsuit. And I was like, what in the heck? And I'll never forget that builder brought me into this multi-unit condominium complex that we had done. And he proceeds to show me all of this scratch glass. And I just zipped my lip and watched and consumed everything that he was showing me. And I kind of went back to my office and I said, what in the heck is going on? And so I started to go online and I found the IWCA. And I got in contact with their glass education committee and they provided resources to me. And just to conclude that part of the story, it took me 3.5 years to fight that lawsuit, but at the end of the day, I did. And I did it by the help and the knowledge of the IWCA and the resources that they had. So I was, kind of hooked. And so they have a scholarship to attend convention every year. And I had applied for the scholarship and I got it. So my first convention, I think, was 2006 or 2007 in Nashville. And that was like where I went and my eyes opened, because we were just a small owner operator company in southeastern North Carolina on the coast. And, I didn't have a lot of exposure to other companies and know what other people were doing in the industry. And I go to the convention and it was like, holy smokes, this is a thing. Like, this is an actual industry. This is like, there's people that have these businesses that are crushing it, that are doing well, that are super experienced and knowledge and professional. And I was just hooked from day one. And, being a woman and a very young woman at that time, everybody embraced me. And, it's like IWCA is like traditionally had this, and I'm kind of dating myself here, but there's kind of like this good old boys mentality that people think of when they think the IWCA. And if I can tell you anything, it is that is not true. These good old boys, I mean, are the ones that have developed the professionalism in our industry, and they embrace anybody who wants to do the same. And so, I've just become hooked. So served on the board the first time in 2010. That was a 3-year term. I knew nothing at the time. I was so green. That's when the I-14 was coming out. That's when there were so many issues going on in the industry with high rise and rope descent and all of that.
And glass.
And glass, definitely glass,
Just
fabricating debris. Yeah. Like the old Dan Fields days and all this sort of thing. And so, I was in on all of that. And then I, continued to be a member, and then they recruited me back on the board. And then I just proceeded up into executive committee and became president. And now I'm immediate past president. But, it's just always been a love affair with me. And I lean into the things that I've learned through the IWCA. And I want to make one thing clear, because there's so many organizations out there, and there's a lot of different conventions that we go to, and we're learning different things at these conventions, right? From sales and marketing and all this sort of thing, and finance. But the IWCA, to me, what they deliver is like craft, like the craft of our skill and approach to the glass in a safe way. Like that's what the IWCA, that's what their unique selling proposition is. And, to be a professional, you can blow up a business, you can grow it like crazy. But if you know these things, and if you are educated in these things I'm talking about, then you will be different. You will be able to differentiate yourself from your competition, and be professional at what you do.
That's awesome. Yeah. Kevin Hargis is chiming in here. Says, hi, Sheila. I love Kevin.
Hey, Kevin.
The sleeveless wonder. I forget the
Yeah.
tagline. He's sleeveless shirts. I love him. I'm sure he will be at the IWCA convention as well. It'd be good to catch up.
I hope so. Yeah, Kevin's a previous board member, served on the board with Kevin, and had lots of great times with him.
Yeah, I got back on the board as an associate when you were president, and happy to say that Joe reached out and asked me in his time here coming up to help out as well. So I'm happy to do that. I'm looking forward to it. The convention is the 12th through the 14th, maybe the 11th, something like that.
Yeah.
It's ballpark dates anyway in Las Vegas.
Yep, that's right. Yep.
That's right. Golden
and
Nugget.
the room blocks are almost sold out. So please, if you're going to go, get your room booked. The Golden Nugget, super affordable rooms, by the way. It's right on, what is that street? Fremont Street. So
yes,
like in
the end of Fremont.
Vegas. And like besides all of the killer things, which I'd love, I know we're, somewhat limited on time, but I'd love to talk about safety, and I'd love to talk about residential rooftop safety, and a new course that we're rolling out for the convention. Can we talk about that?
Do it. Floor is yours. I love that.
All right. So Mike Draper and myself will be presenting it's really a 2-day. It's the tail end of day 1 and then the beginning of day 2. But it's essentially a 5-hour course. And, we are going to, it's based on residential rooftop safety and developing your procedures within your company. So, nutshell, Mike's going to deliver, of course, all the OSHA safety standards with 1910 and rooftop safety. And the second part is we are going to be actually providing live residential home examples of where job hazard analysis and safety work plans are required. So if I'm a cleaner and I'm doing residential and I need to get on a roof to perform any of my operations, you have to stop and say, wait, I'm not in safety code right now by OSHA. And so I need a process. I need to know what to do. And so that's where the job hazard analysis, the JHA, we're going to teach you, first of all, we are going to develop a standard operating procedure for what this whole process looks like in your company. We're going to do that in a workshop style, like roundtable. So totally hands-on. We're going to look at real life examples. We're going to identify job hazards on these real life examples. And then we're going to actually write safety work plans for these examples. And then we're going to send you away with all this material so that you can literally take it back to your company. You've got an SOP, you know how to do a JHA, and you know how to develop a safety work plan. And the final part, which is the coolest part, is the hands-on equipment, because residential safety equipment is totally different. And there's so many products out there. And so we are going to have those to actually get you in the gear, get you on the gear, teach you how to use the gear, and like how it applies to these examples that we're using, so that you get some real life experience, and you can take that back and be like, okay, yeah, now I kind of know what I want to buy to start to build up my safety arsenal and things like that.
Very cool. When I think about the IWCA, the number one thing that comes to mind is their initiative and their efforts to educate from a safety standpoint. And so we continue to support the organization beyond any sort of ROI as a company that would come there from a manufacturer standpoint, because we know that these types of classes are available there for the people that show up. Now that's over the 2 days. It's split amongst the 2 days. That's included in the standard convention registration.
Yep. It starts on the 11th in the afternoon at 3:15 and ends at 5. And then it picks back up again on the 12th at 9:45 and ends at noon.
Okay, very cool.
Okay.
And Kevin and Steve Williams, who I know you've met a number of times with me as well, are doing a solar safety certification class on Tuesday morning. So that one's a big one to check out as well. Solar's kind of that, for me, solar's interesting because every time I start to tune in or listen to the safety aspects of solar, I learn something new. It's always changing. It's probably, in my mind, it's kind of the Wild West, whether it's how to clean them, how to stay safe, what to use on them. All these things are constantly changing. So it's very cool that the IWCA's got a solar course as well at the convention here coming up in Vegas. Talk to me about your family. So I recently visited with you when you had your 25th anniversary ribbon cutting, which is massive. I was super excited to be able to do that. And I've met your daughters a few times, but one of your daughters works in the business, right? Can you tell us about that and that dynamic and how that's going for you?
Yeah, great question. So both of them actually do. My younger daughter, Izzy, she works for a window cleaning company. So she started out with my company, coming up through high school and all of that. She's an exceptional window cleaner. She actually won last year at convention. She won the medley contest.
Awesome.
So the medley speed contest. So she's pretty good. But anyway, so she's working for a company up in the mountains now because she goes to Appalachian State University and she's, going into a whole different career. But my oldest daughter, Sadie, came back because COVID kind of ruined her whole college experience. So she's like, "Hey, Mom, can I just come back and work for your company for a while and see what happens?" And here she stays.
Yeah, that's awesome. What is Sadie's role in the organization today?
Yeah, she started out in marketing and now she's in sales and she's crushing it in sales. And I like to say she learned from the best, which is me. But you know what? She grew up listening. Like as a child, she grew up listening to me have conversations with customers over the phone. And so she just naturally knows what to say and how to say it. And she knows what we deliver because she's been around it her entire life. And so when she does sales, it's not this push. She doesn't need a push. She's just helping clients solve problems on their home, right? And so anyway, she's doing great and it's so fun to have her in the company. It's challenging having family members in the business too, because you have to separate that, natural personality to your adaptive personality of now, because it's a business, relationship. And so there's times where it's tricky and, other team members kind of go like, "Oh, what's going on here?" Sense some family tension. Yeah. But you know what? To have somebody like Sadie on my roster that 1000% has total heart in the company and has my back no matter what. And I'll tell you a really quick story. I think this sums it up. We went to a chamber event. It was like an annual meeting and you go around the room and, you stand up and do your plug and all this stuff. So I did mine. And then Sadie stands up and she says, "Hi, I'm Sadie Smeltzer. I'm Sheila in training."
That's awesome.
And like when she said that, I'm telling you, my heart went, whoa. And it just painted a whole different picture for me. And so like what an honor and an opportunity to be able to work with her and coach her. And we have family dinners on Sunday and we talk shop and we try not to, but it always happens. And so it's really a blessing. It really is.
Yeah. Yeah, both of my boys work. Both of our boys work here in the business. My wife handles most of the payables, and so you're right. It's interesting when you have to start to draw those lines. I'll never forget the first time I heard my oldest call me Shawn here rather
Yeah.
than Dad. Right? It's just it's an interesting dynamic. So after 25 years, what keeps you going? What is exciting you about your organization and your business, and what's next for you guys? What keeps you pumped? Because I know
Yeah,
you
thanks.
are.
Yeah, thanks for asking. I'm, I'm leaning into my experience. I'm leaning into more of like a holistic approach to property maintenance. I'm leaning into the fact that we're in a coastal climate. So we have, really we have we're in a southeastern coastal climate. So we have five major threats. And those five major threats are oxidation, corrosion, mildew, algae, and mold. And those are the problems that I need to solve on our clients' properties, whether it be commercial or residential. So we are rolling out service agreements. And what is the biggest challenge that we have in the window cleaning industry? And that is, how do you fight the seasonal slouch, right? Like, how do you
Sure.
push through the seasonal slouch? So I'm taking this and I'm saying, hey, here's the problems we need to solve, but how do we solve them? And I'm kind of leaning into a story that a client taught me years ago, which I'm kind of calling my 10x guarantee. My 10x guarantee is saying, for every $100 that our customers spend in maintenance, they're going to save $1,000 in repairs and replacement. And I know that it's common sense, but people, we're looking for clients who are really serious about taking pride in their property, who understand that guarantee, who understand the truth of it. And we're signing them up for service agreements. And those service agreements say that we're coming to your house 4 times a year minimum. And because if we come to your house 4 times a year, no matter what season it is, we're remediating any of these threats that cause issues on your home. And you get to enjoy a clean home all year round. Like, we're not looking for that reactionary client. We're always going to have the reactionary client that's like, oh, it's super dirty, I got to get it cleaned. They're always going to be there, right? Got a
Right.
database full of them. But
Mhm.
we're looking for the clients to sell these agreements to that are really serious about it and that say, yeah. And we're trying to sell a grand slam offer that's saying, hey, you can't say no to this agreement because everybody wins. It's a
Yeah.
win-win.
Very good. Very smart. I always think about, when you see Jim's window cleaning or, something along those lines, it's so narrow, right? I think the A plus pro services just makes way more sense than, Sheila's window cleaning or A plus window cleaning. There's so much more there, and you're getting in there. So sell them everything they need. And it's a value add, right? To your 10X point. Well,
Yeah, absolutely.
we are up against the clock here. We're out of time for today. I'm so excited that you came on the podcast. I'm very much looking forward to catching up in Vegas in a few weeks. And yeah, so any parting words of wisdom for our audience here?
No, I just, like I said, everybody keep true to your stories and do your unique thing and stick with it.
Yeah,
And dive into the industry, dive into the resources, dive into the knowledge that's out there, because at the end of the day, the more advanced and the more professional we deliver the industry as a whole, the more we all win, right? The more we set that new standard of professionalism. And
yeah.
so yep, those are my parting words. Do that.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. I like the quote, be you, everyone else is taken, right? If you can settle into
Yeah.
who you are, then everything sort of comes easier. It's a bit like setting a goal and knowing whether or not an opportunity that might come your way is right or not, because a goal is a compass in a lot of ways, right? Does this thing help me achieve that thing down the road? Yes or no? And I look at those kinds of opportunities in my business all the time, and we just have to know who we are. It's like staying in your lane, right? You've heard that expression before as well. Well, I could talk to you all day. As you know, we have done that before. So
Yep.
So I'm going to cut us off here short. If you're watching, please like, subscribe, whatever all that terminology is. Check us out. We try and do this every week, but it kind of ebbs and flows, as businesses and needs do. So check us out. And Sheila, I will see you in Vegas in a few weeks. Thanks again for being on the show.
Can't wait, Shawn. Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.